Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Leaders in Clinical Research, as this is part two of our conversation with Sumana Jeddy. If you missed part one, please go back in the feed and listen. You'll learn a lot about Sumana and her amazing wellness company and some tips on what you can do when you're approaching burnout. Um, Thank you, Sumana, for coming back. We just wanted to cover rest and how we can um, create rest for our bodies. What are the steps and recommendations you have?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we have forgotten and that I have learned from my own burnout experience is that I didn't rest in the right way. I think there's a wrong way to rest, and there's definitely a right way to rest. I was not doing all the things that I needed throughout the day. Right? There's something called your body budget, and you have to really make sure that you're not bankrupting your body budget and that you're not going into deficit, that you're keeping multiple dimensions of your wellness sort of in that green zone, in that flourishing component versus in that red zone, in that deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely are a few different ways that you can rest. Of course, we talk a lot about movement, right? Movement is something that everyone's like, yes, you got to move your body. If you're sitting at your desk, I'm standing right now because that to me is like more comfortable because I've been sitting all day. Any kind of movement or physical rest is very important. So I had that down packed. I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Physical rest for me, I walk to work every day. So that was easy to do. But there's also emotional rest. If there's opportunities for you to journal, meditate, go see a therapist, get on the Calm app, right? And listen to a sleep story if you want. There's a lot of different ways to give yourself emotional rest as well. And I'll maybe share a couple more, which is one really good one that I didn't do, which I think a lot of people, if you want to prevent burnout, should do, is sensory rest, right? Giving yourself a break from the screens and the phones and the iPads and the
Mm-hmm.
laptops and your computer. Please do that. Please, please close your computers when time's done, when your workload is done, especially now with this hybrid work environment. We're all working from home. There is really no stop working, right? Trigger
Mm-hmm.
or cue. People just continuously work as if we were meant to work all the time. And if you're not working, then you're on your computer doing something else. So I highly recommend having moments throughout the day, every 45 minutes to an hour, even if you give yourself 30 seconds to look away from your screen or to close your eyes, or to like just stare into blank space. You can do that as well. Look out the window, look at a book, look at the floor, look at the ceiling. It doesn't matter what you do, but try to do that. And creative rest. I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about that, Taya.
Yeah, I did because you had mentioned that earlier to me, and I've never heard of that concept. So it was really interesting, the idea of creative rest.
Yes. So creative rest, again, a lot of women tend to, at some point in our lives, I think our job becomes our identity. We just become our job. We become this one person that's like, oh, what's your name? I do this exercise with my clients where I say, can you please introduce yourself? And 99% of them would say, my name is blah. I work for blah. This is my title, blah. And then I'm like, I know nothing about you, right? Who are you as a person? Tell me you as a person, introduce yourself to me. And then they start to think, oh my God, okay. And then they're like, oh, my name is blah. I like to do this in my free time. This is what I'm watching on Netflix, for example. Right?
Yeah.
Just shifting that narrative a little bit to be like, why are you defining yourself as your job title? That is your job title. Let's bring you back to who you are beyond your job. So creative rest really just sort of ties in that component of who are you outside of your work. Let's try to like really piece that together and identify some hobbies that you like to do. Do you have a side project that you love doing? Do you volunteer somewhere that makes you like really feel energetic, right? Do you like to learn to play the ukulele? I don't know. Do you, write in your spare time for a magazine or a book? Those are ways to rest creatively. Or are you somebody who likes to produce and write shows and maybe make videos like I do? Right, for me,
Mhm.
one of the easiest ways to rest, when I started making videos for YouTube first and then now I'm on TikTok, that was like the best time that I felt alive. I was like, yes, I have this creative energy to do something that goes beyond what I normally do, which is sit in front of a computer, look at data and numbers and infectious disease research all day long. And then I get to come to my playground and I get to play, I get to learn, I get to teach. So it's a really different part of your brain that you're working with. So maybe I'll ask you, Taya, what do you, since I've explained to you what creative rest is, how do you rest creatively?
Well, I do photography of birds. So that is something I do, I guess, for creative rest, because being outdoors is something I enjoy. And during pandemic, I was really into the birds that were suddenly showing up in my yard that I never noticed before. So yeah, that's something that I really have dove into is bird photography.
I love that. And do you notice that when you are reaching to that point of exhaustion and overwork that you're not doing photography as much as you want to?
Exactly. Yes. Um, yeah, it's hard to find time when you're at that limit. You're stressed. You're stretched so thin that it's hard
Yeah.
to find the time to do things you enjoy.
Yeah. I do say this also, there's a lot of anxiety that creeps up on Sunday nights for a lot of people. And today's Monday. Mondays are not the most pleasant days for a lot of people. They're like, oh my God, I hate Mondays. Mondays suck, right? I'm not
Mhm.
happy about Mondays. So I say that if Mondays are the day, or maybe Tuesdays are your day, whatever day it is that you start to feel kind of like draggy and exhausted, and you feel like this is just not my day, I hate this day for whatever reason that may be, that's a great day to do something to replenish that creative rest. So identify that for yourself and put it in your calendar. Like, you know what? This is my theme. I don't work well on Mondays. I'm a
Mhm.
bit of a Grinch. I'm going to make sure I spend 20 minutes outside taking some photographs.
Yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, thank you for your tips, Sumana, and thank you for explaining the different kinds of rest that we can have, because I think people assume it means just lay in bed and like physically rest, but it can be a variety of different areas that you can rest in your brain. So I think that's really important to stress to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also important to. I know you had made a super awesome infographic. If you haven't, if
Mhm.
viewers are going to watch this, please go check out that infographic. It has all the different types of rest that we can try to incorporate into our day-to-day lives. And of course, maybe when you're in your office space, you can't start filming if that's what you like to do for your rest. But make sure, like I said in the beginning, like if you're noticing that your body budget is starting to really get into that red zone, you almost
Mhm.
need to do like an assessment every single day to be like, where am I at when I start my day? Am I at like 70% today? And then where am I at the end of the day? Oh my goodness, I'm at like 20% right now. So that's a
Mhm.
very large discrepancy that we need to now fill back up, because let's be real, if we don't fill it up, that 20 will become negative very, very quickly. So it's almost like a day to day, early in the morning, how do I assess? Before I go to bed, how I assess. You can just pick a number or a color or a word. I mean, your rating scale is dependent on how you describe and feel. And I always say a 1 to 10 is a really easy assessment. So do that and then put rest in to be like, well, I think what I need today is like a really good run. All I want to do is hit the gym and go for a run, and I'm going to feel a lot better. Or maybe what I need is a good cry. I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to cry it out. Right? I'm going to be like, I'm done. I made a TikTok about it and it was so funny because it's very real. They're like, I'm going to need about 20 minutes. All right, I'm going to go do my crying. I was coming back. I'm going to feel better.
Yes, you definitely need to link your TikTok below in the comments so that people can follow you, because your TikToks are great. Yes.
And laughing. Laughing is a really good way to rest, right, Taya? I always say
Mhm.
laughter is the best medicine. If you on the days when I'm feeling really, really low, I'll either watch, all of the it's something on Netflix that's a stand up that's gonna make me laugh, like a Kevin Hart or a Trevor Noah or something like that. Or
Mhm.
I'll watch all the Ice Age movies from beginning to end. I'm like, I'm gonna watch all of them now. and just get those laughing hormones. And, I used to do this with my team all the time. I would literally make them laugh. Not that I intended to make them laugh, but I would just shoot the shit with them to be like, let's just have fun.
Mhm.
Let's just add a little bit of humor to this really stressful time.
Well, since we're talking about rest, did you have a book recommendation around rest for our viewers? Is there
A
something that?
book recommendation on rest. I'm trying to think here. Well, I think I mentioned earlier that book Time Off. It's like literally the whole book
Oh, yes.
is about rest and leisure and how to really use rest and leisure in your day to day. I think that would be my sort of go to book. But even there's a book by Ariana Huffington. I think it's called Thrive. I think that's the name of the book, Thrive. Maybe there's
Mhm.
something I can't remember the title now. But even in that book, there's a few different strategies on how to, especially in the work environment, there's like literally a page after every chapter that gives you a straightforward like protocol, like do this if you feel this. It's a fantastic book. It's only like $20. You should probably buy that and just kind of flip through it. It's an easy read as well.
Okay, thank you. And I will link those in the comments as well for our listeners. So thank you, Sumana, for this engaging part 2 and talking about rest. I think we all need some rest. So thank you very much.
Rest is the power juice that we need for 2022. Rest is fuel. So if you can rest as often as you can, and micro rest is the strategy that I give people. Put that in. Sometimes you just almost have to steal time and say, you know what, I'm just going to do this.
Mhm.
You could even be drinking a cup of your coffee, and you can intentionally make that your rest time. Keep that, like sensory rest where you'd be like, I'm drinking my coffee. So you're almost doing two birds with one stone. You're drinking your coffee mindfully and you're not looking at your phone. So that's like 2 rest periods within like, I don't know, however long it takes for you to drink your coffee. So it's not complicated. It's just about you identifying that, yeah, I rested today.
Yeah, just small micro moments. Well, thank you, Sumana, and I hope we can talk again. Thank you.
You're welcome, Thea. It was nice to be here. See you
Thank you.
later.